Iran has got multiple crises to manage. And the international relations part of it is just a small element of what's going on. These are important elections, but legitimacy is under question clearly, given that only 7 candidates were allowed to stand. 3 have so far fallen out of the race, and the person in the frame now is likely to be the winner. So these are the most uncontested elections in Iran's Islamic Republic's history.
We saw in Annalise's report some of the effects that the COVID-19 crisis has been having on Iran. How much do you think that's going to play into the outcome?
I think it's going to be very significant because the population at large is unhappy with the way in which the regime has responded to the crisis. And they look at the neighboring countries and the way in which they have managed to bring the infection rates under control, to provide vaccines much more widely than Iran has done. And they hold the government naturally responsible for it, even though the sanctions have been instrumental in limiting Iran's ability to contain the coronavirus. But alongside that also, Tokis, is the question of the economy. The two are now intertwined. Not only are people dying from this virus, but also they have none of the means to counter it, and also for the country to counter the economic effects of the coronavirus that has affected so much of the world already.
Now, some of us may remember that this huge protest that took place in Iran in 2019, followed by those protests over the downing of that Iranian fighter pilot. Is that popular unrest still simmering?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And we'll have to wait and see what happens post-elections, because one view is that the voter turnout is going to be so low as to raise questions about the legitimacy of the elections. But the unrest is there. It's about politics, it's about corruption, it's about lack of economic opportunity, it's about high inflation, it's about Iran's isolation in the world, and the very serious age gap between the people who lead Iran and the population, which is demographically young. Those people, the majority population, feel that the bearded men have nothing to say in response to their daily crises and trying to make a living. And that gap remains wide open, irrespective of who is elected tomorrow.